Welcome to Fuel. Fuel stands for Finance, Unity, Empowerment, Legacy. Join us today as Dennis, Dr. Jackie, and Mac have part one of their conversation on diversification.
And that's diversification. That's what I was wanted to talk about because I remember when I was growing up, all they talked about was diversification. Put a little bit of money here, a little bit of money there. So if any one thing that you do fails, then you're okay. So I did the real estate, I did the stock market, I did the CD, the mutual funds, the Bitcoin, and I did the um, gold, and probably a bunch of other things. So actually this weekend I did an accounting. So I lost money in the Bitcoin company, gained money in the Bitcoin. I think Bitcoin's about at $60,000 right now. When I got into it, it was $9,000. So I
Right.
gained on the Bitcoin itself, lost in the Bitcoin company. I did an accounting on the gold that I owned, and I was really upset. I was so upset. I called Dr. Jackie and said, this money has not doubled yet. And some of it is less than I paid for it. And I know people in the gold market say, well, you're doing something wrong, whatever. It's gold and it's not worth what I paid for it. And that really upsets me. But it's all a part of what I'm saying about diversification because I was going to take I was going to look at the gold and try to see where I was, how much, how much, how many assets do I really have? So, I look at like my life insurance as an asset, and I said, okay, I'm winning over here, I'm staying even right here, and I'm losing over there. And I'm like, I'm gonna just sell this stuff to somebody who wants it. Because every day I see commercials on gold, and I'm like, I'm selling it. Somebody that wants gold, I'm selling my gold. Only because I've had it for 30 years and I was not happy. I called Dr. Jackie and said, Dr. Jackie, do you know I thought I had at least this number in dollars in gold. And when I did my accounting, I was about basically even. But on the overall global picture, I'm in the plus. So it's kind of weird. It just came to me because I was thinking about diversification, how that has helped me. And no one can pick the right thing that's going to win. Because when I was growing up, I was told put money in real estate, gold, and the stock market. And the stock market goes up and down, gold goes up and down, and real estate goes up and down. So that's basically what I'm looking at is diversification. Is you realize there's like three markets, I think, three real markets: variable, which means up and down, um, then something more stable, like I'm using this as an example, a bank or mutual fund or something where you're going to get the same kind of interest rate every year. And then indexing, which is you get the gains but you don't suffer the losses. So I'm still moving around in different markets, I really was wondering because I sit here by myself and I get my pen and pencil out and I try to figure out where things are. What do you think about the word diversification for one? Um, and then, back to our staple. How does that rule of 72 affect us?
Hey, Dr. Jackie, you want to touch that first or you want me to touch it?
Now you go for it.
Okay, so it's interesting that you should bring that up, Dennis, because I was actually thinking about a venture that failed the three of us in 2020,
Mhm.
and how because of diversification, it didn't destroy us.
Sink the
But
ship.
That's what I was
right,
gonna say. Sink the ship.
right, exactly. And I was thinking about that, and I'm glad that you went into this territory because it does make sense. Sometimes to take that old school advice, you know, don't put all your eggs in one basket. To know that uh, there is always an opportunity where something could actually fall short of expectation, and at least you would have something that could keep you afloat. And I think that worked out for the three of us. But we also know that there were people that came along for the ride with us where they put all their hopes on this particular thing. And when it did not work out, they were, I mean, not just really drowning, but I
Really?
mean, catastrophic. And so, yeah, as a hedge of protection, because even though we're talking about uh, increase things that provide increase, this is still about making sure that within that we have ourselves protected against anything, because there are no guarantees when you're getting out into the stock market, gold, real estate. There are times of plenty, there are times of lack, and everything in the middle. So it's always, I personally have stuff going on in everything. I've got index annuity. I have stuff in the stock market that's a lot more um, open to failure, if I can put it that way. Um, you know, and with me understanding that it's out there at a risk, but also, you know, going into the blockchain, Bitcoin, cryptocurrency world, things there. But I still have real estate stuff going on that so far is working out. So um, it's always a challenge in just trying to make sure that things are operating the way that you want them to operate. So for, I'm sure people like us, first thing I do in the morning is get out there and monitor where all of my investments are, what's going on with them. I mean, I list them every day so that we can make this diversity work for us. Dr. Jackie?
So the thing that I hear from both of you is that there is a reason, rationale, or a plan behind what you decide to do. And sometimes you call it a strategic plan, that you then set up. What you're doing is not just an arbitrary thing. Okay. And so with that, I think there are a lot of talk to people. We find that, okay, I'll talk about lottery. There's all this excitement about the possibility of winning, gaining, and they just put all of their money there. And when it goes, they're lost. And so I'm going to go back to something we mentioned and build on it, okay? So I'm going to use my arm. So we've talked about having a strong foundation, right? And then we look at debt management. And then we look at emergency fund. And then we look at investment, okay? So if we go that way and start at the top with the lottery, because we're investing, we don't have this foundation, and this goes away, and everything is going to fall anyway because it can't float on its own. So what I hear that my two gentlemen associates talk about is thinking about a plan. To be diversified means that you have figured out some other things in your plan to help you build this house, this financial house, right? And so one of the or two of the other words that we refer to is let me see if I get it right. Suitability, what's suitable for you, what's affordable for you, and how much risk can you handle. But those are questions that you should really ask yourself before you jump in. A lot of time people just gonna say, "Well, I have this amount of money. What can I do with it?" Or "How much do I have to put in? When can I get it out?" Well, if you know where you are with your amount of risk, if you understand what you can afford, you already know how much you can put in. You already know what you need to be able to take out. And a lot of people don't do that. They just kind of say, "Well, I'll be all right, and I'm going to win the lottery, and it's 1 in 2 million, right? Who might win it?" So I think it's a great topic because we need to not only think about diversified, meaning having a wider range where we're moving our money around, making it work for us, understanding this whole concept of what's suitable, what's affordable, how much risk, and some plan.
You know, diversification is weird because how do you learn this stuff?
Yeah.
So when I first started making money, um, I started buying savings bonds, U.S. savings bonds. That's what everyone told me was the way to save money. And then I got a savings account because everyone told me to get a savings account. Then I got a CD because everyone told me to get a CD. Then I got a better job and they offered a 401k. So I got a 401k because everyone said, get a job, get a 401k. And then my coworkers always talked about real estate. So I got into real estate. Then they start talking about gold. So I got into gold. Then they talked about this and they talked about that. And finally I realized that I need to go get educated. You know, like Dr. Jackie said, my foundation had cracks all in it because I was taught invest, 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 invest. But no one ever told me about foundation. So what is a foundation? You know, it is the strongest part of something that you're building or of a building. So once I started learning the rules of foundation building, that's what I did all my focus in. I started focusing on foundation. And I never invest more than I can afford to lose. So, I look at my foundation, I make sure I have an emergency fund, and then I invest. So even though I had some investments that failed, and I did have one investment that tore me up, which was my real estate back in 2007. That was just horrible for everyone, I believe. And I didn't come out of that one in good shape. But some of my other investments weren't touched. So I was able to rebound. And that's how important a foundation is. You can build the foundation, but you got to make it strong enough that it can't be toppled because one of your investments goes south.
Yeah. Yeah. So I hear you both loud and clear. And, talking about that foundation, um, you know, I'm still one who is a proponent of having money that's readily available for emergency fund, to make sure like if something catastrophic happens that you have money that you can immediately get to. Outside of that, I'm really a proponent of having money in places that are not as easy to touch. Where it might take a little effort to get to it because then it might just stop us from actually trying to grab the money before it's really had a chance to really work for us. And I know that the three of us are again understanding that money is the tool and money should be out there doing all of the heavy lifting, not us trying to heavy lift for it. So, you know, the key component as we talk about diversity is also talking about allowing time to let that diversity prove itself. And so, you know, again, it's a great thing to have some of your eggs in one basket here, some in another place, and some in another place. However wide you want to spread that. But at the same time, it's also about not just being ignorant and just never paying attention to it again. You have to monitor all the time to see what's working, see what's not working. Maybe you have to shift some things around because one thing is working better than the other. And all of this just comes through being patient, word that I know Dr. Jackie likes to use, educating oneself constantly to know what the new trends are and to be up on what other people are doing. And when I say other people, I'm talking about other people that have a track record of success in finance.
There are a lot of people who, how we say, may talk money, but it is important for you to get an understanding of what is true money, what rings true. So there are a lot of people who will say things and catch your fancy, and you end up kind of following them. And there are elements of it that are not necessarily true to you. You're just going to try to be nice about it. And so to meet all of it with an open mind so that you can find out, but to start a debate, what does that word mean and what does it mean? How do you apply it? So, Mac, you talked about two very important concepts in what we call the wealth formula. You don't start with wealth until you have some money, right? So you got to start with some money to work with. And then the beauty and benefit of time and what happens to that money over time. So I thought those were two good points that you mentioned. And going back to diversity, goodness, as you were saying, you can diversify your money and again over time. Sometimes it's staggered growth of it, which is all part of the plan. So
So, hey, I propose that we get a crystal ball.
what a good idea.
But so let's look at this crystal ball. I'm gonna ask some questions if I can remember them all. So here's the first question: do you think taxes are going to go up or down? Do you think gas cars are going to be around forever? Do you think electric cars are going to take over? Do you think uh, uh, do you think that you have saved enough money to make it through a 3, 6, or a 12-month period where you were making no income? Do you own your job?
Mm,
How important is your degree if there's nowhere to work?
Ah,
wow. Wow.
Why do we, okay, when you're pushing your children to things, do you always push them to college or you give them the option of a trade tool? And I do have a really good example of that because I was in school for electrical engineering. I got recruited by a company that dealt in electrical engineering. And, And I sat in the interview. I said, well, I don't have my degree yet. You know what they told me? They did not care. Because we're going to have to train you again. We're going to have to train you. So we'd rather have you now after you get your degree. And I had never heard that before in my life. And they put me in a 4-year training program, and I had to pass. And after I passed, I was like, well, what's the minimum age to start this program? Because, you know, I done been in college. I'm like, I'm older. Started college a year after I graduated high school, so I'm older. They said you could start at 18. I'm like, well, how come y'all don't tell anyone? You know, because there are a lot of things out there. I was just talking to a friend of mine today who was worried about getting laid off. And I said, you know what? 6 months in a program to be a plumber, you can make $100,000 a year or more.
Yeah.
You know, you get in there, you do a 6-month HVAC program, you can make $100,000 a year or more. 6 months in college, you're still a freshman with no skills. Now, don't get me wrong. I'm not down on college. I think everybody should go. But I think you got to be realistic about your outcomes. There's very few people who work in the degree that they receive. I have a lot of friends that got music degrees, and they're not working in music. So what happens? They went to the school with good intentions, but we got bills to pay, and them good intentions will turn into whatever job is available. So, when you're looking for higher education, don't look down on that plumber. Don't look down on that electrician or that carpenter or the mechanic, auto mechanic. Yeah, they didn't spend 4 years, 6 years, or 8 years, or 12, depending on what your vocation you planned on being. But tell me one doctor that don't have to take his car to the mechanic. Tell me one lawyer that don't have to call electrician when something happens at his house. So we got to think, that we all need each other. And we need doctors, we need lawyers, we need electricians, and we need plumbers. No one is above the other. It's all about not only diversifying your personal finances, but the finances of your village. And I know that's a broad thing right there. But when we're looking at society right now, this is April 2nd, 2021. Excuse me. When you're retired, those dates don't mean as much as they do when you're working. But when you look at your family, I look at my daughter, my niece, my nephew, and I always tell them, don't rely on one skill. Don't rely on one financial institution. Don't rely on one job. Diversification is deeper, and the real meaning is many. You gotta have many avenues. Your brain can't be stuck on one number.
This concludes part 1 of our topic, diversification on fuel. Remember to subscribe to our YouTube channel at Fueling Future Generations. You can also reach out to Dennis, Dr. Jackie, or Mac at our email address of fuelingfuturegenerations2020@gmail.com. We'll see you next time.